All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We are coming to you here live from our studio with our first impression session of our Spotlight stream. Tonight we had the pleasure of showing off Godz by Board Game Brothers, live now on Kickstarter. Definitely go check them out. And in our first impression stream, we're going to talk about our favorite aspects of the game, any constructive criticisms we had, and the most important question of the evening of would we play this game again. But first up, who are we? I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
I'm Josh.
I'm also known as Dr. Kane Swirl, DDO. And we are Twist Gaming. Thank you all for joining us today. And if you haven't had a chance to check out our Spotlight stream for Godz, I'm sorry, you need to go check that out right now because it was amazing. And Dr. Kane Swirl says you need to go chickadee check it.
Before you rickety wreck yourself.
Yeah. Dr. Kane Swirl.
Dr. Kane Swirl.
I'm so happy with that card. All right, so Josh, what kind of game is Godz?
I'm trying to think of the right words to describe it.
I don't know.
So it's
story-wise, you are basically playing as an up-and-coming rapper, and you're having all of these events happen, and it's very interactive with the other players, where you are having events that happen, you have goals that you're trying to get to, and then there's some player interaction with the beef cards.
Yeah. And
beefs are basically like a head-to-head battle, if you will, from one rapper to another, which is going to positively affect one and negatively affect another.
Yeah. But it's a victory point game. We're trying to get victory points at the end. I want to call it resource management because that's technically what these are. You have your money, your singing skills, and your street cred.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to increase on the tracks to hit certain criterias to take over cities, to meet certain goals, and then each player has a special bonus points they get at the end of the game if they reach a certain criteria. So you're trying to manage these resources in a way so you hit as many of these goals as you can, but also while gaining more points. And the cards you play, as the game progresses, the amounts of resources and points you get off the cards are higher, but they also have prereqs.
Yeah, some of the cheaper cards have prereqs to them, so you can't play them. For example, this one here, buying a huge SUV, you need at least $11 money to buy it, but it would give you you don't actually spend it, it's just a prerequisite, so you would get 4 money and 4 of your plaques, label, your CDs. Mm-hmm. So starting off, we'll go through our favorite aspects of the game, and we start that with the baddest rapper alive, Ammunition. And take us away. You were the winner of the game today. You won by a pretty healthy margin. Don't drop it again.
No, dog.
I'm gonna let you finish. But Taylor Swift had the best album of all time.
I don't think that's how that conversation went.
Probably not. So, Anne, favorite aspects of the game today?
So I got wind of this game through Twitter, and I was so excited to play it because it put together 2 things that I really enjoy, which are board games and rap music.
Yep.
And I thought it was so cool to see those 2 topics, those 2 kinds of things merge together into board games because, kind of rap is got that preconceived notion that rappers don't play board games or rappers aren't nerdy, which I think is really ridiculous because if you listen to a lot of rap, especially lyrics and songs by like Eminem,
lyrics now, yeah.
all of them will rap about superheroes and comics and art and whatever. So I was so excited to play a game that put those 2 worlds together, and I was worried because you get excited to play a game because rap's got a bad rap, because you like a theme and you're like, oh man, I really like this theme. I hope it's done well. And I think that for what this game is supposed to be, it's done pretty well. It reminds me a little bit of Call to Adventure in that you're building a story as you're playing these cards, with a little bit more character interaction with the beefs. it's light. It's definitely not a complicated game, but I like all the story elements in it. I absolutely love the flavor text. I love that it's really silly, that it's not like a super serious take on rap. It's funny and it pokes fun at rap, but it stays within the culture.
Right, absolutely. And that's one thing that I really liked about it is that it plays into some of the tropes and makes fun of aspects of it while still showing respect to it. And I enjoyed that. So first part of that, I'm talking about, you got to get strapped to get your street cred and become the recognized shot caller. And then, of course, you gotta get yourself a grill. So it's playing into these common tropes, but again, it's things that are actually prevalent in rap music. And, earning mic skills pertains to some of those, earning street cred, and it's very funny, like the way that it works out, because it definitely does pay homage. Josh, how about you?
I like the story. I like. Can you go to the board game real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the. It's really cool what they do with the album and track.
Yeah.
With the little mixer slider.
Absolutely gorgeous. The board is so good.
Here and here,
It's got the crossfader.
It's a crossfader soundboard.
Yeah.
So it just the little detail. I really like the board's beautiful. Like a lot of this is prototype art. So Matt, where's that one card I showed you that looked like it might be closer to?
Oh, not this one.
No, that's super prototype art.
This is the most prototype card, but some of the more well done ones.
Where's the one with color on it?
I don't know. You took all the cards, remember?
I handed you that card after I took all the cards, though.
I don't have it.
All right, it's now gone forever. But so we have this kind of prototype, but the art is great. The flavor of it, the flavor text, was wonderful, and I enjoyed the beef mechanism of the game.
Right.
Because while it was take that, it wasn't.
There was some randomization to it.
Not just that, but me losing 4 money or someone losing. Besides losing the points, which kind of sucks, but losing some money or gaining, like losing money from someone else, isn't necessarily a bad thing, because the person who won Detroit was whoever had the least amount of money.
Yeah.
And the person that won Atlanta was the least amount of mic skills.
Yeah. There's especially I think in the third album, when you're in the third album or the third round, the cards that come out really swing your resources significantly. But even then, I kind of felt like Matt could be up to, 33, 36 points, and that's fine, because if your goal is to get the least amount in something,
doesn't matter.
Yep.
And so I was up there too, because my Dr. Kane Swirl was playing with the ability here, or the goal here, of you need to have over 25 money and over 25 street cred. So that's why I didn't care about my mic skills at all.
Yeah.
And this was one of the more difficult cards to play, because this one, on top of having to have over 25 in 2 categories, you couldn't play any green cards or any blue cards. So there was a couple times where it was very tight for me and I only had like one option to play, but I was lucky enough. However, at the very end of the game, if I was stuck and I could only play one card, my entire strategy went out the window. So it's a very risky and difficult card to play with. Whereas some of the more straightforward ones, this one here is you just get over 30 mic skills, but it's only a 10 bonus. So there's definitely a risk-reward mechanism there that was really neat. I'm a big fan of unique player powers, so I definitely like that there's individual rappers with different skill sets. And then on top of that, you start in different cities, and the different cities give you different starting conditions as well. So some might synergize better or worse with your character, which is pretty thematic in the grand scheme of things. So Atlanta there too. And then finally, with the final scoring, the cities are the little added bonus for final scoring. But I also like the different medals as well, which are there multiples of these, Josh?
Yeah, there's a handful more.
So they're going to green screen a little bit, but these are randomly drawn at the beginning of the games. So complete another player's roles with an objective.
The champ one is the only one that's actually preceded,
Oh,
which is the most beef.
Most beef wins.
Yeah.
Win 2 cities that aren't your hometown. First player to get all resources above 20. So this is another nice little bonus that you get as well. So there's multiple ways to earn the plaques, the victory points to this game, and I thought that was a nice little addition as well. Anne? Anything else?
I think you've really hit on it. I mean, I think that, the guys are really talented artistically, and it's definitely comes out in this game. I think we've really hit on all of the points that I really, really enjoy. Let's talk a little bit about the story.
Yeah.
Matt, you've got your cards kind of laid out in front of you. So
by album also.
So as you get your album cards and as you play them, essentially you're building the story of the path of your rapper.
Absolutely.
And Josh has kind of got to be a little funny where he ended up playing some cards that turned his rapper into a TV star.
First a movie star, then a TV star.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he went from hardcore rapper who was stealing my chain.
It was actually just a cameo, so I don't know if I was really TV star.
Oh.
I was still
okay.
movie star level. I didn't drop down. I just did a cameo.
So yeah, you're Ice Cube. That makes sense.
I also had a Tesla.
You did.
Oh boy. So like I've got my full story here, and I thought that was really nice. And it doesn't say just laid out in a specific order, so you don't have to do anything with this in the grand scheme of things.
But I
you
think
can lay
it's
it out
fun.
as the rapper's career. I did it by album just because I think it's kind of cute like that. And, afterwards I'm gonna come up with a name for my 3 albums.
1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that it's cute because the scenarios for the different levels of albums seem to progress with how you would expect a successful rapper's career to progress. So in the
Right.
level 1 things, like you're holding down the block, you got an income tax check, and then in your level 3 ones,
Performing halftime
Yeah.
at the Super Bowl, getting an A-list feature, releasing a diss track.
so I thought that was really cool. They did a good job with that synergy.
Yeah, definitely kept that
Also,
progressing nicely.
You got your chain stolen.
I did. It was by Josh, which is why I bought a street sweeper. Now we're going to go into the constructive criticisms portion. So this is based off of our personal opinions on our first playthrough of the game. Any aspects that we would tweak if given the opportunity.
I want to go first because
Yep.
I'm going to steal the one that I think everybody's going to talk on.
Okay.
Can you go back to the board cam?
Yeah.
Did you
Can I
hear?
make a note beforehand?
Okay, go.
This is a we didn't say
Oh, yeah.
we didn't say this stream.
Yeah.
But this is a prototype, so things will change. So some of our construction criticism might be things that they have already fixed. We don't.
Or will be addressed. By the time the Kickstarter is through.
So.
I love the record to track the resources.
Mhm.
I think that's so cool, and super thematic, super appropriate with the faders. I mean, it's just a really great idea. I would have liked to see better lanes.
Yeah.
Um,
Better segmentation
Yes.
between the 3 resources, the money, the mic skills, and the street cred,
I could
as well as
see-
the numbers.
I could see that being incorporated easily as like the lines in a record.
Right.
Right, and I think they're in here a little bit. Like I was looking as I was getting in, and I see a grid, but it's just so dark, and I can see it a little bit on the camera. The camera is a little easier to see than it is here.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, right.
I definitely couldn't see it from my
In
personal
person,
angle.
no, I caught it in the camera here, and then in 22.
Oh,
But
look at that.
yeah, but in person, it's very difficult to differentiate. So maybe if those were just a little bit more prominent.
Yeah.
To make that easier to manage, because that was definitely a little confusing for me.
Okay.
That was my big beef.
The beef. This is tough. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more evenness in the beefs, because I felt like he who starts the beef wins the beef the majority of the time. But maybe that's part of the aspect of the game.
To entice people to do it.
Yeah. So I'm a little on the fence about that. I'm nitpicking here just because I really, really, really enjoyed the game. I had a lot of fun with it.
What if the game came with a D3? And the person who had to roll got the D6 plus the D3? Or something like that.
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe so it just wasn't so like nerf it a little.
Possibly. I don't know what the answer is to that. But I definitely I would like to see something a little bit different, and I don't have the answer for it.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing that's chewing in the back of my head. One thing I did definitely want to speak about, and this I'm sure is going to get addressed, is that you don't play these colors.
Oh yeah.
Blue and green. This is green. I'm sorry, we're green screening. It's the nature of the beast. There's no iconography there, so Josh actually could tell the different colors. This is, of course,
the board
it's green and yellow.
I tried very hard to tell the different colors.
So I don't have any greens because I didn't plan it. Here's a green. So one's green and one's yellow. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. But having some sort of iconography there would go a long way. There you go.
So I'm going to... Is that your last point, Matt? Because I'm going to kind of jump into this
Yep,
point.
that is my last point.
All right, so there's a couple things. I love the art. The art is not my style.
Yeah.
But it's very street art. It's very... And it's beautiful for what... And I actually really like the art on the board and everything.
Yeah.
And it's really pretty. The graphic design clashes so much with this game, though.
What do you mean by that?
The icons for money, Mike, and street cred. If you look at the little circles with the numbers on the front of all these cards. The squares for colors. So color, my idea for color was you have all this awesome street art. If you made like a little graphic of each color, like a tag of each color, that each was a different shape or kind of something like that, you could use that as an indicator to tell color.
Right.
And put it all on the cards. That was thematic towards the game.
Right.
So if you look at the board here.
So Eberron's saying that it was brought up in the Kickstarter that they were working on a way for colorblind
and
players to tell. This is just the biggest.
That as well. So if you look over here on the.
Whee.
So the city icons are great.
Yep.
If you look at the ups, the numbers on those sides are themed.
That's.
I mean, it's a metal.
Yellow.
The back of the album cards have the. I feel like they just need to bring that style to the rest of the icons of the game.
Absolutely. And like the hard numbers and text works on the board because it's a sound mixer.
Yeah, the tracks. I wouldn't mind seeing some like tag style numbers for the score track, as long as it's still readable.
It's on a record though.
Numbers are not like there's no print on a record typically. This part's fine. I'm talking about this part here. And these icons, if they're a little bit more tag style or something like that.
Maybe.
And not highly.
I can see what you're saying though on the cards to incorporate that graphic design a little bit more.
Yeah. It's just like the player cards. Like they just seem really bland. The gradient back. Like I feel like it could be themed a lot better. Even if each player had their own tag or something in the background or something instead of that gradient black and white back. Something to kind of give it a little bit more style.
Okay.
I feel like it's a letdown to the rest of the game, to this pretty board and all this awesome art they have. Right. And his brother, I think, is doing a lot of the art, isn't it? So like they have use some of this more art, and even if they use pieces of the board to kind of use it for that kind of stuff, that it's there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That this is a little bit more straightforward, and again, could be the fact that it's a prototype.
And that's why I wanted to mention earlier it's a fact of prototype. For the colorblind, I have some difficult with the bronze and gold.
Yeah, those are close.
They're a little too close, and there's a couple of them that the bronze ones that have a slightly different shade, and I can't. That might be in someone's hand right now, but.
Well, that one's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those.
So that's bronze and gold. They're a little difficult to tell apart.
Yeah. And I don't know what the final components of these are going to be, but
some sort of iconography would go a long way on that.
And I don't know if they're still going to be winning tokens or they're going to become chits. I don't know.
I like the shininess of. I mean, I know it's kind of like in the wrong direction, but I really enjoyed that kind of shiny metal feel on the wooden tokens.
Yeah.
Like Josh kept on merging mine to be higher cards, and I was like, no, I kind of like.
You just had a big mess pile in front of you. Don't even try to justify it.
As for the colorblind thing, if they add the icons to the cards, that would be a big help.
Yep.
The other thing, so this is the issue I had, is I got to a part where I couldn't play cards.
Which is surprising because, I mean, granted, my ability really took care of that. And you had the ability to draw from the bottom of the deck a couple times, too.
Yeah, so I was tossing out all my money cards, so I stopped using money cards.
Because you tossed out cards, man.
Well, because I was trying to get under money, so I'm like, I can't really use any of the money cards. That's a third of the deck was basically I was killing myself with.
Right, but
then I had so as you get higher up in the albums, there was all these prereqs.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I have 2 cards in my hand. I need 18 plus cred to use them. I have 8. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to draw a card from the deck. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go up on this track, but it's the only card I can play. So I had to play it.
You know what I think would be interesting is as you go higher up on the album track, if you've got the ability to, if you had the ability to draw from the lower albums.
And that might be I think you can pick from any album I'm not sure the rules say for that. If you have to pick from the current album or any album.
I know you can't pick above the album that you're at.
I know you can't pick above, but you might be able to pick below.
And if Omari's in the chat, you feel free to answer that one. But I think that would be a nice way to mitigate that, just because then you would have lower requirements. It's a low risk, low reward, so you don't bump yourself up as much on the tracks, but there's a significantly lower chance of you not being able to meet those requirements. Yeah. Because my requirements in level 1 were 4, level 2 were 11, and level 5, 20, 18, and 26. So... but no, good points all the way around. I think what's up, Ann?
I have one last point.
Yep, go for it.
Okay. This is the first player token?
Yep, sure is.
Right. This is a rap game?
Yeah.
Why is that not on a chain? That's totally nitpicking, but I would love so much for that first player token to come on a cheap little cheesy chain. I think it's so thematic and so unique and different.
Yeah, I don't know the cost on that, if that would be cost prohibitive, but having this
cheap
on
a
crappy plastic chain would be awesome. You're right. I would love that. Deluxe edition right there.
Yes.
And Joshua just stole the chain from me. Jerk. All right. Any other points that you guys want to make?
No, I love this game. Make sure you check it out on Kickstarter.
Absolutely. So, most important question of the evening, would you play this game again? Josh?
Yeah, I think this is a nice entry-level game. I think the theme helps it widen the range of who you can kind of bring into your board game group.
Absolutely.
And kind of get them started on this.
I really like Josh's commentary. I think he hits the points. This is something, again, where I feel like people aren't aware of how much these two cultures intersect. And I think this is a great, easy, light, fun game to introduce to a lot of people. And I had a good time. I would definitely play it again.
Yes, so big yeses.
Big yes.
Definitely yes for me. I really, really had a lot of fun with this game. I love the theme. Thematically, it just plays so well. It hits everything really nicely in the 3 album layers, as Ann was saying before. So you really transition from these street-level things to city-level things to Mr. Worldwide at the last one. And the last thing I want to say is if, this game is on Kickstarter, so there is some final development going on. If the final polish on the entirety of the game looks like the final polish of that board, is going to be friggin' amazing.
I wonder if we can get ourselves into the game. Oh my gosh, that would be the best.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I already am in the game. Dr. Kane Swirl. That's me right there.
So from all of us here at Twist Gaming.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. We really do appreciate it. But signing off for now, I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
I'm Josh.
And we are Twist Gaming. Have a good one, everyone.
Good night.